day 24 of the Arizona Trail, and I'm a little cold. The storms, I think, are done. It's still raining at like 4 a.m. The major storms last night came around 10, and they were these spectacular ones with the heavy rain and the lightning. It was just blinding me, even though I was in my tent, and the big thunder cracks. So even though I'm hiking at a more normal hour this morning, my quest for sleep has not been fulfilled. But let me show you what I'm walking through right now. Still got these green hills with the clouds, and I'm making my way out of a little, I don't know, elevation dip where I spent the night. And I'm sure once I get to the top of this, I'm going to be heading downhill again because I'm heading towards the East Verde River. Oh, look at this view I'm coming up on in the morning light. That's pretty. So, East Verde River is my last kind of low elevation dip until the very big exception of the Grand Canyon. So part of the problem starting late in the season is those lower elevations were going to be hot. But here's the view now. But this is the last one, and the storm is actually helping me out because it's going to be a little bit cooler because I'm going to have to climb out the other side in the afternoon. I like to do those in the morning when it's cool. So that's the plan for today. And here it is. This is the descent to the East Verde River, and that is a healthy bit of elevation loss. That saddle I just crossed was about just a shade under 5,500 feet, and the river is going to be just a shade under 3,300 feet. So yeah, that's a big drop, and with the elevation profile, it looked like it was a pretty pretty steep drop too. So I might be doing what one of the other hikers described as rock skiing. For me, it's kind of tiptoeing an occasional skid, but some of that looks pretty steep. So it might take a while to get down there, and then I just got to get back up. But the elevation profile coming back up looks in most places. Some places are steep. Most places looks a little bit more gradual. So that's up next. Still heading down, and the morning after a storm can be a little annoying because the air is a little chilly, and all of these, bushes I keep brushing against, you can probably see it on this one, all have dew. There's water all over it, so my pants are soaked right now, and my shirt's wet as well, but it is creating some pretty awesome lighting on this valley with the river and then these mountains over here. So really beautiful, just a little damp. Here it is, the East Verde River. It's kind of, for the water crossings I've been doing, it's kind of wide. Looks like I might be able to do a rock hop up here, but I also might be getting my feet wet, which is pretty amazing. But I'm going to stop here and fill up my water, because after this, it's a big climb up the other side. I don't particularly need a break right now, but I'm going to take a minute or two to sit, just because this is such a lovely spot. I mean, it's still cloudy, but we have the green reflecting on the river and the nice sound of the river rushing next to the rocks. And it's just a really pleasant place. And I'm still trying in vain to dry out my tent fly from last night. I'm climbing to the top of a mesa, which might be right there. But in the comments yesterday on this section, people were just being irrationally angry with rocks, and I wonder if this is kind of why. This is what the trail has become. It's become basically this jumble of rocks right here. It's looking back down at that valley, river valley. So maybe this is where people were starting to get angry with rocks. But I don't know, I've been expecting the worst possible rocks because of those comets, so this isn't really that bad for me. You do have to watch for the cairns every once in a while because you don't have that little, you know, easy to follow groom trail. But other than that, I think there is an overreaction to this section. Now I'm on top of the first mesa and I can kind of see where the complaints are coming from, because this is the trail and you can kind of see it beaten down, but the trail is, I mean, you kind of have to pick your feet up. There are rocks there, and every once in a while there's a cairn. There's one right behind this bush. You kind of have to, if the path's overgrown, you kind of have to sight the cairn. See, looking forward here, just kind of looks like flat expanse. So I can see how people would kind of get off track, and then, oh, I see another cairn. It's way down here. People would get off track, see it? And then stumble over rocks and just be angry with everything. So, again, since I was anticipating the worst, this isn't so bad. Just have to pay attention. This is White Rock Spring, and it looks like that basin is full of clear water, which is great, considering I think I have stock ponds after this. But it's got a great view. You can kind of see the mesa I just walked. You can't see the river because it's down below. And this is right underneath another mesa, White Rock Mesa, which I'll be going up next. But this is a nice spot with clear water, and I'm going to take my lunch break here. Walking White Rock Mesa, and you can see there's a lot more trees up here, so getting a little bit higher in elevation again. And I kind of like these mesas because, you know, it does take a short bit of much effort to get up to the tabletop of the mesa, but then it's just gradually sloping upward, so feels like you're moving pretty quick across them. There are still rocks here, but oh, look what somebody made out of pine cones. There are still rocks here, but you just step over them. I'm well up on White Rock Mesa, and you can see the scenery has changed. I mean, it's still cloudy, but there's a lot more trees, and most of these are juniper trees with juniper berries littering the ground here. So nice and flat, gradual uphill with berries, and if it was sunny, I'd be enjoying the shade and still have these purple wildflowers here as well. And then still trying to spot the cairns. Just following the cairns uphill and over rocks. So the vegetation on the north side of the river is totally different than on the south side of the river. You can see back across that way. Back there, even at those higher elevations, it was more like short shrubs and a lot of pokey things. And here we're getting more trees. Super different. Cows again. Been a couple days since I've seen cows. Oh, baby cow. Well, my next water source, now they're scared. My next water source is a stock pond, so I should have assumed that I would see cows again. And here it is. I got spoiled by all of those springs and creeks and flowing water, and for at least the rest of the day, tonight, and part of tomorrow, I need to filter this delicious cow water. I have water buddies. That one must be hot. Elk. are terrifying the cows. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I think the elk wanted to drink here and they didn't like me. Sorry, elk. I'm hitting the road section, which is where I'll be ending somewhere today. I'm headed towards the Pine Trailhead tomorrow, and that's 12 miles from here. Grand Canyon is 248, Utah only a short 349. I just found a nice windbreak among the junipers to set up my tent, so I'm all set up. I survived the rock section without actually yelling at the rocks. I honestly thought it was kind of fun because I was expecting gigantic boulders I'd have to scramble over, and I was just kind of hopping from rock to rock and sighting the cairns, and you know, it made the time pass by faster because you're actually like looking for stuff and doing things, as opposed to sometimes the trail's just monotonous. So I understand why people were angry if they're not expecting that. I'm sure people have had their trail meltdowns there, stubbing their toe on those rocks for the 10 millionth time, or making a wrong turn, but I thought it was, for the most part, pretty enjoyable. So now tomorrow, I have a short day to the trailhead for the town of Pine.